Thank you, Byron, Danielle, Andy, for leading us. As always, thank you to the officer who keeps us safe. Put your life on the line for us. I'm so grateful. A big, huge thank you to Dennis and Steve and the AV team. Had to throw some stuff at them early. Not good, but thank you so much. So, 3 parts today in this lesson. The intro, which is basically the public service announcement. That'll go about half my time. Then I'm going to create envy for many of you and tell you about my vacation. That'll go the other almost half, and then 3 scriptures. So that's what we're in for. Just 3 scriptures. Yeah, I'm running out of time with my public service announcements. It's getting a little hot in here, so here we go. Children's ministry. I'm so excited what we're doing today and what's going to be going on in children's ministry the next 8-9 weeks. In the month of July, the theme for children's ministry, Kids Rock, is worshiping God in creation. Worship in creation. And we're going to be talking about different ways that we worship God in creation. And today, Steve and Betsy Gooch are out there, and they are going to be planting seeds, sunflowers, and then talking about the scriptures and how God creates, and they're going to be singing, and it's going to be an incredible time. Some of you will remember when they did this 4 or 5 years ago, and what happened is that box that you walk in every day, the planter, that was done by Steve and Betsy and the children's ministry. And they planted sunflower seeds in it, and within a week or 2 already, the kids came in, and their plant was labeled. And they could come in, Mom, Dad, that's my plant. That's my sunflower. And they exploded. And since then, the children's ministry has had that box out there for you to enjoy every Sunday looking at the plants. And then coming weeks, we're going to be taking some pictures. They're going to be taking pictures of creation and then framing them. We're going to be doing some, the kids are going to be learning how to serve kids from other countries. And what does the shoebox mean? Then next month, is going to be pretty cool. They're going to be doing worship from different countries. And one Sunday, we're going to talk about how do Latin people worship God. And some of you may not realize, but not everybody worships God in the European sit in your seat and just sit there for an hour and a half. The people worship in different ways. So the Latin country, 1 week, we're thinking, help me, India, 1 week, and different ways people worship God. And the kids are going to be experiencing that. I think it's going to be life-changing. I think the kids will remember what's going on. And so get involved in the children's ministry. I've already had some people coming up and volunteering, but we need so many more. It takes about 30 volunteers to run the children's ministry on a yearly basis. And many of you have kids in the children's ministry. Many of you have had kids in the children's ministry. Many of you feel like me. I had kids many, many years ago. I can't get up off the floor anymore. Hey, we can figure it out. But let me encourage you, get involved because it's going to be great. And as this church gets energized and moves, I promise you the children's ministry will be a key to that. Because if it's not good, the church won't be good. That's public service announcement number 1. Number 2, cornhole next week. I hope you've been enjoying the videos that we've been sharing and offering. What's that? Ready to go down. I took out little Judah and his little sister. Please sign up. I know many of you are planning to be a part. Let me just remind you of some of the cool things about last year's. If you remember last year's cornhole, it was the first one. It was trial and error. But we were outside. It was a lovely day. Everything was set up until a major storm came running in and just... And so everybody picked up their cornhole bowl, ran inside. We set them up, which now if we look back, Is it better to be in air conditioning, playing cornhole, or on that day, the humidity and the heat would have been well over 100, and we would have melted. So God blessed, and we had a great day. I remember people just all over the place fellowshipping. Betty Lingle sticks out in my mind back there. I mean, she wasn't even playing cornhole, but stayed here till 3 or 4, just having a great time. I remember the Nesbitt sisters, Kathy and her daughter, Kristen, in their T-shirts. What did it say? Nesbitt? Yeah. Corn to be wild. That was awesome. I remember everybody playing, throwing, holding their shoulders, getting ice pads, calling paramedics. We do need to continue to congratulate Mark Roberson on a fantastic runners-up finish. Second place, Mark. It's great to be runner-up, isn't it? So please sign up. This year, Family Fun Day is going to be providing at cost a lunch. There'll be pulled pork sandwiches and many other things. So if you don't want to go off-site and get something to eat, and then we'll be starting up the cornhole tournament at 12:30, and it'll go till 3 or 4 o'clock. It was such a blast last year. It was such a great time. The challenge is we like to sign up last minute, which does make it a bit nerve-wracking for me and my wife. So if you could sign up today, that would be wonderful, and get it in. If you don't sign up and you sign up next Sunday, then we'll still have a great time. But please sign up. The barcode is all over the place. You can sign up on the Cornerstone app. You can sign up on the link that's in the bulletin. You can tell my wife or I, hey, I want to sign up, and we'll put your names down. We'll figure it out, okay? But it's going to be a great time, and hopefully we'll have about 30 teams spread out throughout this building. So, yes, Fenton is ill. Not sure what all the illnesses that he is going through, but just feeling rotten. And we were like, well, if you're feeling rotten, we'd love to hear you preach, but we really don't want you here. So he's home getting better. Pray for him. And so he allowed me to have this time to be able to share a couple things that I've been going through. The theme for the month, does anybody remember the theme for the month? He's an artist. God is an artist. That's just like high school today. That's the way we do it. God is an artist. And I am not an art person. I can't draw. I can't color. And really don't appreciate it. But my thinking in art, it's not the first glance, but it's as you take it in. Is that fair to say for you artists? That you can look and you keep finding new things. And you keep looking at it more and more, much like Wilson Fisk looking at his snowy bound picture that just seems to be white. The more he can look at it, the more you can take it in. For those who know who Wilson Fisk is. Yeah, Dennis got me. Dennis has it. You just stop and stare. And God is an artist. God is an incredible artist. So we had a chance, my wife and I and the Niemans, and we went on vacation. We went down to the Dominican Republic, Punta Cana, and those people are fantastic. Those people are awesome, joyful, giving, loving, at least to tourists. Don't know what they say when they leave, but they were that way for me. Gave us hugs and whatever. Anybody in here Dominican? We're Dominicans? They do force you to speak Spanish, which I had the most Spanish of the 4 of us from 7th grade. First year Spanish, so it was quite, but we did learn to say "Donde está los baños?" We learned that one. It's very good. And, for me and Doug at least, vacation really is more about the adventure. For Kay and Cindy, relaxation, enjoying. For Doug and I, let's get busy, let's go crazy. So one of the things we did on vacation is we like to try different foods. And so for Cindy and Kay's adventure of discovery, one night we had something like goat's blood sausage or roasted octopus or beets. I don't do beets. Don't invite me over and have beets. I won't eat them. And at this meal, it was probably fine, but at this meal, it got so bad that both Cindy and Kay had to step up and leave because their stomachs were getting upset. And they were like, I can't do it. Wow, yeah, it was crazy. But the discovery's fun. And we tried some things that were different, that we enjoyed, some things that maybe never do again. Discovery. God is an artist. And in his art form, it's a discovery process. It's, what are we looking for? Looking for those hidden treasures. God could take this life and your world and lay it out like one print and say, all right, that's life, there you go. And this is kind of the way we want it, but we wouldn't enjoy life. We like to discover. God is an artist, and it's about discovering the art that God is giving us. So one of the things Doug and I like to do, well, what happened is every morning, most mornings I got up. The sun got me up about some 6:15. I grabbed my masks and fin and snorkels, and I walked down to the ocean, and I did some snorkeling with about 6 inches visibility, if that means anything to you. It means you can't see anything. But every morning I got out snorkeling. But what I loved about it is after that, I was awake, and then I just sat on the chair and had my time with God. And I did my best to sing. God thought it was pretty good. I sang hymns. I prayed. I worshiped. I prayed. I was in no hurry for the next thing. And it was just fantastic. It was just a time for me and God to celebrate out there by the ocean. And then Doug and I always like to, we picked this up, scuba dive. And what I love about scuba diving is you see a whole new world of God. Creation is unbelievable. And you think, oh, we've seen it all. Then you get down and you start seeing all sorts of things. So I've got a couple of videos that show you about God's creation. And so the great thing about scuba is the discovery part. I can show you videos and go like, oh, you've done it. But for the diver, it's looking in these little crevices and seeing these little things. And yes, it's great to see the big things, but we saw little tiny blue, neon, yellow, blue and yellow fish that basically glowed. And you see schools of fishes, yellow and black. There was one that looked like a leopard. In the original video there, you probably didn't see it, but there was a trumpet fish about that long. And so as you're diving, you're looking in crevices. You're looking around, seeing what you can see. One time I saw an octopus sitting back in a hole. And it's the discovery, it's the adventure that makes this incredible. And then, yes, we saw a shark, and somebody's going to say, well, how big the shark is? And the guy told me, the shark can be as big as I want to tell you. So Doug and I'll tell you that shark was about 20 feet long. You don't know a difference. It'd be as big as we want it to be. And, it always is fun to see sharks. But the funny part is after we did this adventure with the sharks, we came up on the boat. Doug and I were the only ones that spoke English, but we all were having a big laugh at Doug because the sharks seemed to really like him. And it came, he was the one filming, and it came up really close within about 2 feet of him and just kind of swam right up to him, swirling around him. But it's about the adventure. It's about the excitement. God is an artist. In Psalms chapter 19, it says, "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day they pour forth speech. Night after night they display knowledge. There is no speech or language where their voice is not heard. Their voice goes into all the earth, their words to the ends of the earth. In the heavens he has pitched a tent for the sun." God is an artist. God is amazing. Take your moments. Some of you are mountain people, and you know what it's like to see the sun coming up or going down behind the mountains. The ocean, and seeing that sunrise, sunset through the ocean. Walking out and adventuring out in the country and seeing the deer or other types of animals. Sitting on your back deck and just sitting there enjoying as the hawk or the owl fly in. God is an artist, and life is an adventure. Life is an adventure we need to, and it's a discovery. What do we need for discovery? I believe for discovery you need adventure. An anticipation of what's going to happen. What's going to go on. I think for discovery, you need to relax. Vacation's a funny thing if you've had one. The first 2 days are just stopping. It usually takes 2 or 3 days before you can even start vacating. And by then it's time to go home. It's relaxing. The discovery is a time to relax. The discovery is a time to slow down. Right? On vacation, get the backpack, get there, go there, do this, get you this, blah, blah, da, 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 da. And you're supposed to be relaxing. Discovery is opening your eyes. Digging around, looking around. See, our relationship with God, yes, God could give us a pill that, boom, would instant do it. But what would be the adventure, the relaxation, the slowing down, the opening eyes? What would be there? Discovery is digging. It's digging deep. It's not settling for what's there, but trying to go a little bit more. Discovery. God is an artist, and we need to discover God as the artist. I think of presents, gifts. If I'm giving a gift to Byron, it's like, oh, here, Byron, here. Oh, okay, thanks, bro. Yeah, right? If women give gifts, they wrap it, they put it in a bag, they put tissue in it, they put a card with it, they tie it up, and it's a lot more fun, right? I mean, we like to open presents. Why? Because of the anticipation, because of the adventure, the relaxation, the slowing down, the opening our eyes, and the whole discovery part of it. So if we look in Matthew chapter 13, we see several parables in Matthew 13. You know, today they're planting sunflowers. I'd encourage you every week before you come in here, go look to see how much they've grown in the past week. The parable of the sower. And several weeks ago, the men got together. We talked about the parables. Who is the farmer? Who is throwing the seeds? Who is that? I know for years we thought this, but what do we think? What are we discovering now? Who's the sower? We used to think it was us, and that's our evangelism throwing it out. Any other thoughts who it might be? God, the Father. God's the one sowing the seed. He's the one throwing it out there to land in different places. God is the sower. And it lands on the path, the hearts that just can't take root. You know, in our relationship with God, is it taking root? Or is it just a ritualistic thing that we're going through? Is there discovery, or is it just landing? So it can never take root. The seed then goes on the rocky soil. And we know this. And it says when trouble comes. Is our discovery with God, is our relationship with God, does it just sort of sit there and the first sign of trouble squeezes it out? Then it talks about lands on the thorny soil, where life and the things of life steal it away. And then it talks about the blessing of landing on the good soil. And I just think we are so much missing the good soil. And we're settled in, okay, I'm okay with the thorny soil, hurts a little bit, I get enough of what I want and don't. But we're missing out because of the lack of our surrendering into the good soil. You had the parable of the soil, parable of the soils. You had the parable of the weeds. An interesting thing we talked about several weeks ago, the weeds, you have the weeds and the wheat. And we talked about several weeks ago, who did, in the end, the separation of the weeds and the wheat? Who did that? God, the angels. It wasn't us. And the great thing about this parable is that you can relax and know you don't have to worry. You don't have to stress. You don't have to be the one to decide the judgment of weed, wheat, weed, wheat, weed. Am I wheat? No. God's going to take care of that. He says, relax and discover my relationship with God. Then it goes on and talks about the parable of the mustard seed, the little tiny seed that flourishes into a big bush, and that the birds come and relax on its branches. Relax on its branches, our relationship with God, our discovery. Then it talks about the yeast, a little bit and a large. Then he goes on in a parable about the hidden treasure and the pearl. Discovery, the hidden treasure. In our relationship with God, is it a discovery? Well, we talked about several weeks ago, the person seeking. And for years, I thought, well, the person seeking is me, and I got to go find the treasure. But I'm coming to realization, really, the person seeking the hidden treasure is God, and we are the treasure. We are what's valuable, and God is there for us, seeking us out, wanting us to have this relationship with Him, but wanting us to have adventure, wanting us to have discovery, wanting us to have relaxation, wanting us to open our eyes to these great things that He's given us. And so we are the hidden treasure. And when I think about digging through, seeking, going after the treasure, one of my scriptures from very early on that I love is Proverbs chapter 2. If you look with me, Proverbs chapter 2. Our relationship with the artist is a discovery. It's a journey. It should be something that brings us to relaxation. It should be something we're opening our eyes up to. We are way too given to the past things we have thought about. And the great thing is we have so many more tools today to dig and dig. Like Byron was talking about, digging in the Holy Spirit. We have so many more things. When I first became a Christian, we had our Bibles, the Thompson Chain Reference, that was life-changing, and the Strong's Concordance that was only in King James. And then there was Haley's Handbook Commentary. But we could dig deep in there. Today we have all of those. We have each other. We have the Bible Project. We have Bema. We have videos. We have Google. We have podcasts. We have so much more in this world of discovery. And it's opening up for God just to say, come, look, adventure in my life. Proverbs chapter 2, he says, my son, if you accept my words and store up my commands with you. You know, Manny said today in his opening, and he talked about this, today, what will you leave with? Now, Fenton and I talk quite a bit. We get that the most impacting thing in the church is not this 30-minute time. But for you, it can be life-changing. Because of what I say? No, but because of the scriptures, because of your discovery, because God is an artist. Are you going to store up something today to take home with you? Turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding. If you call out for insight, in my discovery, am I praying to discover? Or am I just okay where I'm at? And cry aloud for understanding. If you look for it as silver and search for it as for a hidden treasure. In your discovery with God, are you searching like it's a hidden treasure? Are you digging that much deeper? I want this. I want this. Give me more. Give me more. And we know how those Bible studies are, right? You get hooked on something, that one Bible study you remember from whenever, maybe it was today, whenever, and boy, you just can't get out of it. You're going deeper and deeper and deeper. Are you digging for it? Is it like a hidden treasure? Then you'll understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom, and from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He holds victory in store for the upright. He is a shield for those whose walk is blameless, for he guards the course of the just and protects the way of his faithful ones. God is an artist, and there's a discovery path for us to be taking up, for us to be going deeper in our relationship to God. I would love to see us more and more in this group, for us to talk a lot less about the Atlanta Braves, best team in baseball, and talk more about the excitement that we've had from the Bible study. And not forced. I know how it gets forced. Well, but I mean, really said, man, did you hear what he said today? I'd never seen that scripture. Let me share. I mean, I get pumped when people do that with me, sharing discoveries. This place would be electric. And there's a time and place. How's your family? How's this? Where are we going to lunch? I get all that. But to share those hidden, I cannot wait to get back from my dives and tell my wife about my dive. I can't wait. I want to tell her, I saw this and I saw that, and this was cool. And, oh, we made so much fun of Doug because the sharks really came close to him. And everybody laughed. I can't wait. It's so fun. Right? Isn't that the way discovery is? You cannot wait to share it. Isn't that the way our relationship with God should be? But life loves to squeeze it out. Life loves just to put the pinch on it and push in those boundaries of our discovery. We cannot let life squeeze out our relationship with God. And life wants to. Life so badly says, okay, well, today you only have 5 or 6 minutes. And it happens. We get it. It happens. But it happens all the time. And it's so hard for me to discipline my mind to have that time with God. It's hard for me in communion. Cindy and I talk with so much going on. And then communion happens. And it takes work for me. I love communion. But it takes work for me to say, no, stop. Concentrate what's going on. We'll get to fellowship break. You don't have to worry about fellowship break. It'll get there. But take this time to commune. But life wants to squeeze us out. We tend to feel guilty when we expand the boundary of our lives to make time for God. We tend to feel guilty when we take extra time for God and we expand the boundaries of our lives to make time for God. The world is waiting to squeeze us into its mold and crowd out the time devoted to God. This week, did time crowd out my time with God? It did. The ways of the world have warped our conscience, which punishes us for doing the very thing that pleases God. The ways of the world have warped our conscience and makes us guilty and punishes us for doing the things we believe and that God makes him happy. God is an artist. I mean, for us in the time in the Dominican Republic with those beautiful people, with the ocean, with the palm trees, is very real. And in your mind, picture those, where that's at. God is an artist. And it's going to take discovery. It's going to take for us to dig deep. In Proverbs, the verbs are accept, store, turn your ear, apply, call out, cry aloud, look for it like silver, search for it as hidden treasure. Then you'll understand. The world wants to squeeze it out, but we have to push those boundaries for God in the discovery. Draw near to me with a thankful heart, aware that your cup is overflowing with blessings. Gratitude enables you to perceive me more clearly and to rejoice in our love relationship. Nothing can separate you from my loving presence. That is the basis of your security. Whenever you start to feel anxious, remind yourself that your security rests in me alone, and I am totally trustworthy. You will never be in control of your life circumstances, but you can relax and trust in my control. Instead of striving for a predictable, safe lifestyle, seek to know me in greater depth and breadth. I long to make your life a glorious adventure, but you must stop clinging to your old ways. I am always doing something new within my beloved ones. Be on the lookout for all that I have prepared for you. God is an artist. Our relationship with him is a discovery. Have a great week.